Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. New week, new eternity of the pain fight, and this time it is Nick Fury, and this fight is actually kind of surprisingly doable. Unfortunately also extremely niche special objectives. This fight is made a lot easier if you know one very simple trick about Nick Fury that I will emphasize throughout this video. What you need to know is that whenever Nick Fury is at 16 charges or more, he will never throw his level 1. It's kind of like a little insider knowledge in between top endgame players, but I don't think it has been specifically advertised anywhere. The thing is, Nick Fury never wants to gain that Fury buff by himself. He never wants to be thrown over 20 tactical charges. And his AI is programmed in a very simple way. Whenever he has 16 or more tactical charges, he will never ever use a level 1. So it's always safe to intercept the guy. It's always safe to bait out a heavy attack from him, stuff like that, when he's at 16 plus charges. Additionally, the same rule applies in his second life, except that's when he gains double the charges. And because of that gap in his second life, he will throw his level 1, for instance, at 13 charges, which will put him past 20 charge limit, and again will kind of bypass that unblockable phase. So the key point is, whenever Nick Fury has 16 or more charges, there are no level 1s in his repertoire. And other than that, it's 4-hit combos and baiting out his heavy attacks. Right, let's break down the nodes now. So first one is Fury. This is a very weird node in the sense that it doesn't seem to interact with Nick Fury as it should. He doesn't gain double the amount of charges, and it didn't even seem that his charges were paused when he gained his Fury. So I understand why it is there. I think it's just bugged interaction, to be honest. Then we have Tactical Adjustment, basically an irrelevant node. So when the attacker receives a bleed they're immune to, Nick has 5% chance to gain 1 tactical charge, but typically you're only going to be getting a handful of bleeds when you hit his block due to Shank node, and you can actually use these bleeds to heal up, and that is actually a very useful thing for yourself. Additionally, however, it will interact with some nodes later on, but hitting his block and getting a bleed from Shank is not the end of the world. Quite often I do it on purpose just to get some willpower healing in. Moving on, we have defensive cascade, defensive defense, that blocking attacks, we have 100% chance to apply disorient. If it's a parry, then it's a 50% chance to apply that disorient debuff. It is an active debuff, so you can access willpower healing like that, but keep in mind your parries may fail because of it. And also, when you dash back, you can purify these debuffs, but the biggest thing is that these kind of like skyrocket that block damage and obviously can make your parry fail, and it's another debuff that you can place on yourself for this burnout node. And burnout node is quite an important node here because it can help you be more aggressive. So whenever defender activates special attack, they gain a burnout charge, increasing their special attack by 10% per charge. When the defender has 10 or more burnout charges, all 10 are removed and he's passively power locked for 10 seconds. Whenever the attacker activates dexterity hit whilst opponent throwing special attack, the defender gains an additional burnout charge. So this can help you kind of go ham at Nick Fury and power lock him, and we're going to see this node play in a couple of times. We also have clapback. We all know what that means. Whatever debuff you put on the opponent, if it's poison, shock, bleed, incinerate, or plasma, you get one placed on yourself as well, which actually leads to some cheesy interactions. And then we have debilitating refund, a node that pretty much disables people from using Liquid Courage Double Edge Mastery Tree because the defender's special attacks cost 100% less power while the attacker is suffering from any debuff. Now, this node also kind of enables a kitty cheese here. That's quite crazy if you're in Liquid Courage Double Edge, but for the other objectives, it basically makes it so that you have to remove those masteries for most part, especially because of the special objectives and there not being too many fully immune champions. Basically, as long as you have a debuff, his special attacks don't cost any power. But actually, in reality, in most cases, this node isn't even too bad. Because when he's throwing his level 2 and he doesn't lose power, it's not the end of the world. You're just going to be kind of fueling the burnout node, and that's going to get you closer to him power locking himself for like 10 seconds. So this node is kind of consequential, but in the fight itself, unless you're running Liquid Courage Double Edge, in which case he basically never loses power, it's not too bad. So let's show the 2 solos that I did on the stream as well. I re-recorded these solos after the stream. This is a rank 2 Proxima, by the way. And this fight isn't going to be perfect at all, but it's going to be important to showcase a few things. Now, I will actually lose my combo like twice throughout this fight, which will definitely make this fight longer than it's needed. First thing that I'm going to show here is that you can manipulate AI not to throw his special attack if you dash multiple times back, and then he's going to run in for a parry. So at this point, we can see that he has more than 1 bar of power, right? I drop my heavy attack. And then if you dash multiple times back and he has to actually run in at you, he pretty much never will use a special one, which is something that you obviously do want. So that's one of the first ways how you can manipulate the AI and push Nick Fury to level 2, which is obviously what you want to do pretty much every single time. And now later throughout the fight, I'm going to show a few other kind of like tactics and strategies that do help. With Proxima, luckily, her level 2 does have a stun, and that will help you push him to level 2 as well. So here we're going to see that because of burnout, he didn't lose any power. But again, I'm not fussed that he doesn't lose power because he's accumulating burnout charges and I'm healing with willpower. It's just slowing down fight, but it's not really harming the fight here too much in my case. And here again, I'm just gonna slowly but surely try and fulfill my objectives. I'm doing the same dash back routine here. I'm going to push him to level 2. I'm again dashing back a bunch of times. He doesn't throw his level 1. Perfect. Now I am going to bait out the level 2 and he's going to be power locked here, as we're going to see. I'm going to get in my parries here safely and I'm going to go for my level 2 in a bit in order not to push myself to a level 3 and keep ramping up my Proxima. Now, unfortunately, as I said, I will make a few slip-ups throughout the fight here. And that will extend the fight. As you can see, the block damage is quite unreal, especially with the rank 2 Proxima here. And I'm slowly but surely kind of moving through the missions that I need. And I have gotten 2 of the 3 missions, 2 of the 4 missions, really. And now I just need to get the intercept mission. Now here, unfortunately, he does throw his level 1, which kind of sucks, but it's fine, not a big deal. And here was the place where I screwed up, where I lost my combo. So I did get another intercept, but here I'm at a very bad position where he's power locked while he is at 1 bar of power. And that is very annoying. But, you know, we're going to get through this. So we're leaving him at 6 charges here as well. Very nice. Nothing to stress about. Going to use his level 2. I have 3 missions completed. Basically, I just need to rush to my 100-hit combo in level 3 now. We're going to see that I'm going to lose my combo somewhere along the way again, I think. Yeah, here I unfortunately ate a level 1 when I mismanaged this. But it's all right. We're going to slowly start to rebuild. Here I'm trying to play a bit more aggressive. Nothing too crazy. Again, by hitting his block and triggering those bleeds on purpose, I'm managing to benefit from willpower heal. Now here I did drop my level 3 and he's nearly KO'd. That was a quite solid level 3 and I'm at 65 hits in my combo meter now. And I just need to get to that 100 hits in order to trigger the 4th mission. And with that as well, I also want to obviously build up to level 3. So I don't want to use special attack for his remaining 6% health, ideally. Here's quite sweet. We're trying to bait out a special from him, because why not? He finally uses, he's at 4%, so I'm going to hit him like 1 time because I still had a debuff on, so he didn't lose his power there. He's at 3%. We're getting in there. So he's at 14 charges. A lot of this fight is about counting the charges. So he's at 19. Again, he's not going to use his level 1 whilst he's at 16 plus charges. It's super important and handy to know that. And now at this point, he is pushed his 2nd life. And rank 2 Proximus Special 3 does about 250k, if I'm not mistaken, with all missions active. Something like that. We can see that. So here, I'm just letting him lose his health It's 7k per tick degen. It's quite sweet. I don't want to obviously get cornered. I don't want to screw it up at the very last minute now that I have kind of salvaged it, regained my combo over 100, fulfilled all my missions. I have level 3 ready. So I just want to wait until he drops down to 30% health and then drop a special 3 with Proxima, and that is the fight is over. And the cool thing is Proxima fulfills 2 of the objectives, both of the Thronebreaker objectives. So Cosmic Size Small and Offensive Burst Champion. Here you can see that it's done. Sweet. What was it? 234k, I think. Something like that. Is at level 3. And the next fight is with Human Torch. I'm actually almost going to die at the very end of this fight, but I won't. Hence, it is a solo. With Human Torch, the key thing here is you don't want to use your pre-fight. Because of clapback node, every time you place an Incinerate on Nick Fury, you would get an Incinerate placed on yourself, which gives you a smolder. Now, it doesn't raise your temperature, but it does give you a smolder, which obviously increases the potency of your Incinerates. So that is like super helpful. And then whenever you stun him with your level 2s, you can push him past 2 bursts of power, and you can obviously charge up your temperature. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, and now you can see that you're doing some serious damage there. Again, he's at 18 charges. I know for a fact he's not going to throw his level 1, so I can, you know, go for intercepts. I can bait out heavy attacks. I don't have much to worry about. I finally intercept him. He's going to use his level 2 now, but again, because of that burnout and the final node, he doesn't lose power, but he's building his burnout charges, which is perfect. Now he did lose power. He's at 8 burnout charges, which is going to be quite important later. But you can see that every time I place that Incinerate, he is gaining, Human Torch is gaining smolders. So at this point in the fight, I'm already at 41 smolders. So with Human Torch, this is kind of like a perfect fight. You do have to be very conscious of block damage 100%. You can't take many hits in block, so intercept is quite important. Baiting out heavy attacks, pushing him to level 2, all that stuff is super important. So here we could see that I had like a nice aggro phase whilst he was power locked. I did get in quite a lot of intercepts. Now again, I'm gonna charge up my temperature. I have 59 smolders on me at this point, 61. Again, I'm trying my best to bait out a heavy attack from him. 2 hits in my block and 20% health gone pretty much. But it's fine because of those disorients and bleeds. We can get some decent willpower healing, which you can see here in a second. So here again, couple of hits in there. He isn't losing his power, but we're building out those burnout charges. Now he finally lost his power, but again, I'm going to push him to level 2 here. And at the same time, I'm going to build up my temperature. I have 77 smolders on him at this point. We can see those Incinerates doing an absolute boatload of damage. And now he's power locked as well, so I can just start rinsing him in. I get a bleed here on myself, which is fair enough. Bleeds do reduce the duration of Human Torch's Incinerates, so you don't always want to have those bleeds active. But we can see that I'm pretty much always playing with full health, so you can definitely do this with a lower rank Human Torch as well. Obviously, my Human Torch is ranked up as highly as possible, which it will in fact save me at the very end when I'll make a mistake. But other than that, I think down to 80% was about the lowest my health dropped here. And that is because, again, yes, you can use those bleeds in order to heal yourself up. Bleeds and disorients if need be. Block damage is quite crazy. But here's going to be the thing again. You do want to cut your combos short and hold block up. And Nick Fury is quite heavy friendly champion. That's kind of like the last AI trick that you can do. And if he's not unblockable, obviously, you can kind of cut your combos short and just hold block immediately. And that will, in fact, help you quite significantly but in baiting out heavy attacks from Nick Fury, making this fight much, much, much more manageable. Now here again, I did manage to push him past 2 bars of power. I'm at 99 smolders. Unfortunately, now it's harder to charge the temperature, so I'm going to have to deal with shorter Incinerates. But here I mess up, and he does 4 hits in me. But I barely survived this one, so I'm super lucky that I did survive this one at the end. But again, you know, that was already basically at the very end. So I did kind of butchered a very smooth fight at the end, but still it was 4 minutes there. And again, with smaller Human Torch, once you get those smolders built up, you're still going to be doing an absolute boatload of damage. Right, so let's take a look at the best options. So there are about 4 or 5 champions that do both Thronebreaker objectives, and the main ones are Proxima and Medusa. Proxima does it much better, but Medusa can do it too. And if you guys want to know the full list of those champions, then here we go. It's Gamora, Medusa, Phoenix, and Proxima. I don't particularly recommend doing this fight with like Phoenix or something like that. Maybe it works. I'm sure it does. You can use pretty much... No, actually, not Phoenix. Gamora and avoid level 1s because you don't want to bleed. Medusa, but you do not want to armor shatter Nick Fury. You never want to armor shatter Nick Fury because then you're going to be starting to inflict bleeds, and that is something you want to avoid. So Medusa can work, just do not armor shatter. For the love of God, do not armor shatter the guy. Right. Yeah, so basically just kind of like throw level 2s with Medusa. And then you can choose options like Domino and Cersei. Cersei is very good for this fight, and she fulfills the Cosmic Size S objective. Angela is doable as well. And there is Kitty Cheese that I did on my stream. Kitty Cheese is best to be done with Liquid Courage Double Edge active, where basically it's just an infinite level 3 Fiesta from both sides. Because of him not losing power whilst you have debuffs active. So basically push him to level 3 and he will always have level 3 active, and then you just, you know, eat those level 3s and throw your own level 3s back at Nick Fury. Moving on, best for Paragon is still Proxima or Medusa plus Torch, which is basically what I did. I did Proxima and Torch. Then we have Kitty, Cersei, and Torch. Storm is actually very cool because every time Storm gets bleed placed on herself, Storm gains prowess. Every time you would shock Nick Fury, you also gain prowess, so Storm can get decent amount of prowesses in that fight. We have Angela and Torch. Super Scroll, ironically, is counted as Fantastic Four and also fits Offensive Burst champions. So if you have a highly ranked Super Scroll, you can try your luck there, plus Cersei. So these are just some of the suggestions, definitely not all of them, especially in Offensive Burst category. There are way more champions that are capable of doing this fight. I couldn't list all of them because, you know, we still have like Black Widow, Clairvoyant, and yeah, there's just a lot of champions. There's about 60 champions that fit Offensive Burst tagline, so a lot of champions can do this fight because there aren't that specific requirements for this fight. So I think Proxima is pretty much perfect because Proxima's ability to shut down the disorient node is very vital and important. It just lets you play so much more freely. Then we have CGR. Domino obviously will do great as a mutant. You do need to hope that Domino will fail the club back node or she will purify the bleed because it can turn nasty, but Domino is definitely doable. We have Kitty Pryde, Misty Knight with basically permanent unblockable, also can do some cool things. Storm Scroll, Medusa. Size small Cosmic, we have Proxima, Angela, Medusa, and Cersei. So I do think arguably Cersei is the easiest solo in Cosmic Size small category because Cersei's glancing can save you so many times. I nearly soloed Nick Fury on stream in like first try with Cersei and I ate like 5 combos. And I still nearly got that solo, and I died when Nick Fury was on second life in like last 12% or 20%, something like that. So Cersei can definitely do this fight very well. And then we also have Fantastic Four. Now, I don't recommend people trying Mr. Fantastic with this one. I think it's doable. I think it's going to be very, very hard. I think Human Torch by far is the best option. Then we have like Super Scroll Thing and Invisible Woman. I misspelled Invisible Woman. Let me fix that. V and W always kind of mess me up because in Latvian language we don't have W, so I'm always kind of unsure when to use those. It's alright, it's alright. I know that I should know better by now. Invisible, there you go. That should be better. But yeah, Human Dodge definitely is going to be the best option because of the club back node. I have heard of solos with Invisible Woman as well. Thing can potentially be quite a safe option, just a very, very long one, obviously. But it's up to you, whatever works best for you. And yeah, I hope you guys found this video useful. And if you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the good buttons. And I'm going to catch you guys later. See ya. proceed with...
Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about